What do you think about one of the early matches here? Burnley, Watford, and the total 2.5.
Well, you sent me a message about this game earlier, didn't you, Pauly? What I thought about this game. And I think from someone looking into the game, they automatically think, how can Watford be the favourites for this game when you consider how Burnley have done at home throughout the season? Well, there's a couple of factors. The first factor is a trip to Burnley is always not one that many fans, any football player likes to look forward to. It's probably one of their least favourite visits because it's a very, very intimidating ground, an old-fashioned and nasty, horrible kind of place to go and play football. It's a lot better now than what it used to be, but it's still not up there with the grand stadiums. You know, a lot of teams go and raise their game. The old traditional stadiums are quite hard to play against, and a trip to Burnley is a tough place. And the reason why is their fans are worth half a goal to them in some games. I mean, they're that passionate and that supportive, and it's so make it so difficult for the away fans. To take that away, that's a big negative for Burnley in this game. The second thing, there was stories coming out this morning of the manager Sean Dyche, who is probably one of the most underrated managers in English football. He's been linked with some big jobs before. He's been linked with the Everton job. He was muted for other big jobs as well. He looks as though he might be leaving the club. I'm not quite sure what's happened, but clearly there's something going there. And for a manager like Sean Dyche to walk away from Burnley, he's probably taken this club as far as he possibly can. They're a side who sort of top 10 of the Premier League the last couple of seasons. They can't really get onto the Champions League. They made Europe a couple of seasons back as well. And he really can't take them any further. And he's probably after some money, probably not going to get the money from the board to take them any further. And it looks as though he's going to leave. And he is a key part of that squad, a massive part. A lot of players play for that manager. And this is against a former club of his. He played for Watford for many, many years. He was the club captain as a player as well. And I think that's an important factor to make. So, the manager not really being happy against a club that he holds very closely to his heart. Watford need the points for relegation. Troy Deeney, their captain, did play. He didn't say he said he was a doubt to play. He did play at the weekend, and they missed a few players, but they're back for this game.
Okay.
I wouldn't bet it because I think the Watford price is too short, but I can see why the move is for Watford, especially what we learned in the last 24 hours with the manager's position at Burnley.
All right. Any leans on Arsenal and Southampton?
That is just one that I would not touch. I mean, Arsenal are just such a terrible side at the moment to run out. Southampton is so inconsistent as well. That's a watching brief. I have got one eye on Arsenal for the weekend. I do have one play in Spain though.
Yep.
I like Real Betis to beat Espanyol at home at plus money. I think there should be minus money. Betis haven't had a great run since lockdown, but their fixtures have been difficult. Their first game back was against local rivals Sevilla in a huge derby there, and they lost that. They lost away at Atletico Bilbao as well, which was a very difficult side. And they also lost just before the lockdown to Real Madrid. But the teams they're expecting to do well, the bottom half teams, they usually do well against them. And Espanyol are bottom of La Liga. They come back with a couple of little decent results, and everybody opened up their eyes and thought, Espanyol might have been doing something right in this lockdown. The players look fit. But then last time out, they were beaten 3-1 at home to Levante, which was a really disappointing performance. And all the stats on that game, Espanyol were terrible. They're bottom of the league for the reason that being that they're one of the worst teams in the league. And Betis is a lot better squad. And I think at plus money, I think Betis will beat Real Madrid tonight if you can get that against Espanyol. That would be my only real strong play. Yeah. And the leans in the Premier League would both be for under goals. I think the Burnley game tonight against Watford being the kickoff at 6, again with this heat factor, I would go under. And also we're anticipating some very, very We're anticipating some very heavy thunderstorms across the UK around about the early evening. So if the thunder and the rain comes in, that produces the goal line as well with the weather. So that would be my sort of leans in the Premier League, under 2.5 in both games.